Let's just jump right into it. Today, we are exploring a wonderfully paradoxical premise. What if the hard way to learn programming is actually the absolute easiest path to success? So many people get incredibly intimidated by the mere thought of learning to code. They look for shortcuts, quick fixes, these magic 10-minute tutorials. But in this explainer, we're unpacking the core concepts from Zeid Ashaw's really renowned book, Learn Python 3 the Hard Way. And we're going to discover why embracing the struggle, slowing down, and doing things completely manually is actually the secret to truly mastering code. Here is our game plan, our mindset to action roadmap for today. First, we'll look at why the hard way is easier. Next, the 3 essential coding skills. Third, the rule of persistence. Then, setting up for success. And finally, the programmer's loop. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the hard way is easier, the core philosophy. Now, Zeid Ashaw calls this a very simple introduction to the terrifyingly beautiful world of computers and code. And I just love that description. What makes his whole approach so unique is this heavy focus on making really complex code accessible through pure, unadulterated discipline. Look, it is not about being some born math genius, not at all. It's about putting in the work, step by step, and recognizing that the entire foundation of coding is built on simple, repetitive actions. The cornerstone of this philosophy is something called instruction. Basically, it's a sequence of controlled exercises designed to build a skill through repetition. Think about it like learning martial arts or picking up the guitar. Actually, the author compares learning to code to his very own experience learning to play guitar and study painting. You don't just magically paint a masterpiece or shred a complex solo on day one, right? You practice the basic movements. You play those scales over and over and over again until they become pure muscle memory. Coding is the exact same physical and mental process. You absolutely have to lock down the basic skills before you can even begin to understand the massive, complex computer science topics. Moving right along to Section 2, 3 essential coding skills, the mechanics. So what are the actual mental muscles you need to build? Well, every programmer, whether they've been coding for 2 days or 20 years, relies heavily on 3 critical skills: reading and writing, attention to detail, and spotting differences. These are the absolute foundational tools you must develop to avoid bugs and truly understand the software you're building. It's kind of a fundamental rewiring of how you observe the world on your screen. First up, reading and writing. Now, here is a harsh but entirely necessary truth. If you have a problem typing, you are going to have a problem coding. Source code is full of these completely odd characters. We're talking brackets, backslashes, colons, underscores, the whole shebang. Without the simple physical skill of typing them, you honestly can't learn how software works. By typing out code samples manually and forcing them to run, you force yourself to learn the names of the symbols. You get fast at typing them. You literally train your eyes to read the unique language of computers. Which brings us to our second skill, attention to detail. As the saying goes, attention to detail is what separates the good from the bad in any profession. In programming, missing literally one single comma or using a capital letter instead of a lowercase one can crash an entire software system. By typing exact examples, you're actively training your brain to hyper-focus on the tiniest details of your work right as you're doing it. This is exactly how you avoid creating broken, unusable software. And naturally, this feeds directly into the third skill, spotting differences, because you will make mistakes while typing. Your job is to compare what you wrote with the source material to fix those differences, training yourself to catch mistakes visually. Okay, which brings us to a huge, tough love rule for this explainer. Do not copy-paste. Seriously, no way. If you copy and paste code from a book or a website, you might as well not even do the exercises. Copy-pasting completely cheats you out of the repetitive practice your hands and your brain desperately need to build that essential muscle memory. You've got to type it manually, character by painstaking character, to actually get the benefit of the lesson. All right, Section 3, the rule of persistence, survival skills. Ask, don't stare. Listen, if you write code, you're gonna write bugs. A bug is just a defect or an error in your code. The legend actually goes that the very first bug was a literal moth that flew into an early computer relay and caused it to malfunction. They literally had to debug the machine. Now, when your code is broken today, your bugs are hiding somewhere in the text. Just sitting back, staring at the screen, hoping the answer magically jumps out at you? Yeah, that won't work. You have to go find the moth. You must interrogate your code, look at the problem from completely different angles, and actively ask the code what is going wrong. Now, while you're interrogating your code and fixing those bugs, it is going to be incredibly frustrating. But I want to reassure you with this promise from the author. One day, bang, your brain will snap and you will suddenly get it. Initially, it's going to feel completely weird. It's exactly like learning a brand new spoken language. You won't know what the symbols mean, you'll struggle with the vocabulary, and you'll just be confused. But if you practice every single day, persistence practically guarantees a breakthrough. You just have to survive that initial confusion. If you quit at the first sign of difficulty, you completely rob yourself of that breakthrough moment. Let's dive into Section 4, Setting Up for Success. Exercise 0. So, how do we start putting this mindset into action? You need a strict minimalist toolset. We are talking Python version 3.6, a dedicated programmer's text editor, like Atom, though alternatives are totally fine, and your computer's built-in terminal or PowerShell. That is it. If another programmer swoops in and tells you to install some massive complex IDE, an integrated development environment, or tries to push a hyper-specific operating system on you, just ignore them. Anything beyond this bare-bones, simple setup is only going to confuse you while you're just trying to learn the absolute basics. Now, depending on the machine you're using, your entry point into the coding world is going to look a tiny bit different, but the core concepts are exactly the same. If you're on a Mac or Linux machine, you'll jump into the terminal, run a bash shell, and type Python 3.6 to get rolling. If you're over on Windows 10, you'll open PowerShell and simply type Python. Knowing exactly how to open, navigate directories, and interact with these command line environments is the very first mandatory step to taking total control of your machine. And finally, Section 5, the programmer's loop, putting it all together. This right here is the exact methodology you're going to use for every single exercise from here on out. It's 4 steps. Step 1, write your exercises precisely using your text editor. Step 2, run the exercises you wrote in your terminal to see what actually happens. Step 3, fix them when they're broken. And remember, they will break, and you will debug them by interrogating the code. And step 4, repeat, over and over and over again. Honestly, anything outside of writing, running, and fixing your broken code is just going to distract you. Stick to this strict 4-step loop, and you absolutely will learn how to code. So, we've covered the mindset, the essential mechanics, the absolute necessity of persistence, the minimalist setup, and the core development loop. Now, only one final question remains. Are you ready to put in the reps until your brain finally snaps and gets it? Learning the hard way might demand strict discipline, manual typing without any shortcuts, and endless debugging. But as we've explored today, it is by far the most effective, honest way to truly earn your programming black belt. Embrace the struggle, get your environment set up, and start your coding journey today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope this foundational roadmap serves you incredibly well.